Hello.
Hi, Cedric.
How are you?
Good.
Good to see you. Thank you
Right.
for coming.
Yes.
So my name is Cedric Davoine, and I'm coming from France. And I just opened this wonderful venue, Art Cafe. Well, I've been in Myanmar since about 1 year. I came here basically because I was transferred from China to here from a French company I was working for. And then I decided to try to make business in Myanmar because I think Myanmar is a very promising country with a lot of potential. So in my opinion, in the next years, it will be a very happening place to be. I think the economy is very growing here. You have about 10% growth every year. So it's one of the biggest, that's one of the biggest growth yearly compared to other countries in Asia, and even out of Asia is one of the most the biggest one in the world. So yes, it's very attractive because there is a lot of investment and there's a lot of foreigners coming here to make business as well. So that's a very interesting and promising country. Myanmar people are very, very nice people. They're very religious people and very tolerant at the same time. So that's a very wonderful place to live and very beautiful community. So yeah, I really like Myanmar people. Sure, but I will talk about the area which I'm concerned, which is hospitality business. I really like the Myanmar culture for sure. It's rich of history of 5,000 years, so it's a huge history and very, very interesting. The country is so beautiful. You have beautiful temples, beautiful sceneries in all the different states. Shan State is so beautiful. Kashin, Miek, Gapali, all those places are absolutely amazing. And I forgot because the list is too long. But yes, Myanmar culture is absolutely diverse and very beautiful and totally unique. I mean, you found a way to preserve it within living in the future at the same time, because Myanmar is as well have a vision of development which is very interesting and very promising. So yes, what is very interesting is that you manage, at the opposite of Chinese people, to keep your patrimony and being at the same time futuristic. So that's quite interesting. It's a little bit similar as what I know in France, because my country is very similar to Myanmar in terms of population. Myanmar is 61 million people, when France is about 67 million people. So, but the food in Myanmar is very traditional. So, I mean, it's a lot of recipes from the different states and basically from the different families, and it's passing from grandmother to mother to the daughter. So yes, but it's very various at the same time, because in all the different states you have a very different type of cooking. Some states are very spicy, some others really not. Some are specialized in seafood, some are specialized in vegetables. And so yeah, that's very diverse, like a little bit like France actually. We have a lot of diversity as well. So in our country, we have different regions. Each region has its typical dish, and that's very traditional. And we aim to preserve this kind of traditions. So yeah, the food of Myanmar, I've been quite. I love moringa. I love the tea leaf salad. There's so many beautiful products here. So the Myanmar cuisine is very spicy and very tasty. So yeah. I cannot say too much about the culture of Myanmar, because the culture of Myanmar stay in Myanmar. The problem is that it's not international. Which is a shame, because you have beautiful, very nice musicians, very nice singers, and it's not famous in the rest of Asia, because it's really staying in Myanmar, which is a shame. I mean, if you see the Filipino singers, for example, You can see them everywhere, in Singapore, in Indonesia, in Thailand, in many countries. But the singers here in Myanmar, they usually stay in Myanmar. Yeah, that's quite surprising. Even the actors, the actors is the same. Most of them, they are talking Thai currently or Chinese currently, but they continue to make movies only in Myanmar. Even if they can make movies international, because they talk English, they talk Spanish, they talk Chinese, and they talk Thai. So which are the main movies companies in Asia. It's very, I would say, a lot of things are taboo in Myanmar, especially when it comes to sexuality, when it comes to alcohol, many things which are not very easy to talk about here. Because yes, it's quite close. It has been closed for 70 years. So at the opposite of Europe, which was having a sexual revolution in the 60s, Asia didn't have that. So it stayed very traditional compared to Europe. I mean, basically, if I take my area, which is hospitality business, the brands of alcohol like Diageo, like Bacardi Martini or Moet Chandon, which are normally in all the countries, they're not officially here. They're here, but they're not legally here. So it's quite complicated for us hospitality people, because from the brands, normally we are getting budgets for our place to organize music events, to organize mixology events with international bartenders. And we don't have this kind of budget here, which make the things more complicated to entertain the bars. Because everything we do, when we come a DJ, we pay ourselves. It's not the brand who support us like in other countries. And also, yeah, what has been very complicated for this opening, to be honest with you, is that in Myanmar, a lot of things are not available. So, for example, if I'm looking for tables for restaurants, I cannot find it. So the table you can see in my restaurant actually were made on measure by a steel artisan and by a wood supplier to realize the tables, because I couldn't find some tables at the dimension I wanted. And it's the same for the cutleries, for the plates, for most of the things. You have in the shop, there is 1 or 2 plates display, but in stock there's nothing. And it's the same for most of the things. I mean, if I'm looking for professional equipment for hospitality, the big equipment I can find, but all the small equipment is not available. I have to import from Thailand, from Singapore, from Malaysia, Indonesia, because here not available. And it's the same thing actually, which I'm very surprised about that, because Myanmar is the country of textile. Textile is one of the biggest industry in Myanmar. And yeah, I couldn't find some tablecloths. The tablecloths for putting on my table, I cannot find some, because there is no shop about that. If you're looking for bed sheets and things like that, there is some shop specific, but for tablecloths, for restaurants, there is nothing. So I have to import for many things, which make the things quite complicated, especially in the COVID crisis period, you can imagine. So opening this restaurant was quite challenging, because we couldn't find the chairs that we wanted for the restaurant. We couldn't find the cutleries, the glasses, all the things. We had to find some solutions, and it was very, very tricky. So yeah, it's very complicated when you want to make a business here, because a lot of things are not available in Myanmar. I take some very simple example, like for restaurants, we are normally using Pacojet to make some ice creams. Pacojet is not available in Myanmar. You need to import from Singapore or from other countries. And for many of the restoration utensils, it's the same thing. So, and most of the things you are working with are coming only from China. So the equipment available is only Chinese equipment, which I will not say is bad quality, but doesn't last as long as the European one, first. And secondly, the Chinese kitchen is very different than the Western kitchen. So you can find the Chinese utensils, but the Western utensils are not available. So as a Westerner, when you open a restaurant and you try to make some international food to enrich the quality of the Myanmar food, it's very complicated. So yeah, that's very challenging to make a restaurant here for many reasons. And yes, there is a lot of things you don't know when you open a company. What is complicated as well for a restaurant here is to get the alcohol license because of the neighborhood. You need to make sure with the neighbors that you don't make any problem with the music, with the people drinking alcohol or whatever. If there is some schools around or temple around, you cannot get the license. If there is some people a little bit religious living around, you cannot get the license. So it's very tricky to get the license. So create a restaurant like we did, starting from a villa, basically, because it's not basically a restaurant. We transform it as a restaurant. It's very challenging. But that's what makes the charm as well of Myanmar. It would be very, it would be very nice, but at the same time, it will be less interesting to be in a place like Thailand where you can get anything. Here you have to look for the good things, to look for the good products, and to look for the good quality meat for the client, to select the best product. So it's the same thing for the sourcing. You need to go to find the best suppliers in Myanmar. To start a restaurant in the middle of COVID crisis make it more complicated because normally it's accessible. Normally we can import, but as the borders are closed since a few months already, the equipment cannot come and many things are stuck in the border, which is, I think in all the countries is the same actually. But yes, when you open a business like us and the things are not produced and available in the country, it makes the things quite complicated because Myanmar is dependent of the importations. You are producing a part of the food. Most is produced here, but for all the furnitures and all the mechanical parts, the industrial, you don't have industries in Myanmar. You make assembly in Myanmar. So, for example, you have Hyundai here. They make some assembly of cars. They import all the pieces from Korea and they make assembly here. But basically, they don't produce here. So that's the difference with other countries as well. So a lot of things are complicated to get. And yes, regarding the restoration as well, some products are quite complicated because not possible to pass with the custom. Like for example, if you want some specific product of high level, like oysters. So oysters now it's available because one of the suppliers has imported it and validated it with the custom. But to validate the product, it takes about 3 to 6 months, which is quite a long process. And yes, some exceptional product like caviar or truffle, we cannot get here. So it's a shame when you are doing a restaurant with food and seafood of very good quality, you'd like to give to your clients some truffle on the top, you know. But yes, my objective is to make the people of Myanmar discover the Western style of cuisine and the Western quality of meat and cuisine, because as you know, French cuisine or Spanish cuisine, Italian cuisine are some of the best of the world. It's not necessarily the best, but it's some of the best of the world, and it's interesting to make people discover some different and new tastes. It's the same for the wine actually. Myanmar is a country which just opened, so people are not used to drink wine, and we should educate them and educate their palate to learn or to appreciate the wine. So that's all those things are very interesting for people like me, because we love people of hospitality. We love to transmit our knowledge. This is what is interesting for us, is to train our staff and to bring them to high level and to give them the best education. It's very complicated, and as well, another one thing which is complicated is the people from hospitality in Myanmar. The schools, the vocational schools, are not very well developed. You have now some few schools which are a little bit bigger, quite interesting, like Swiss Contact, for example, but it's quite complicated for now to train the people in hospitality business. In my country, for example, the hospitality schools, we have 3 restaurants. We have a restaurant for the students, which is a self-service. We have a restaurant where the students cook for the students play the role of the clients, and other students make the role of the waiters. So to put them in a concrete situation. And we have another one restaurant which is open for public, where we put the students in a concrete situation. So they really, like a normal restaurant, they have to serve some real clients. So this is very interesting to learn and to really enrich your knowledge in the hospitality business. And for now, the vocational school here, they make the training theoretical at school, and they place their students in restaurants for formation. But yes, it's when the students come hot from the schools, they don't have all the basis they should have after the formation. So this is, it's still, we have to train them after they come hot from the school. Actually, to be honest, the staff, which is interesting for us, is the staff of Myanmar, which have been working abroad. A lot of people of Myanmar go work in hospitality business in Dubai, in Singapore, in other countries, and those people, when they come back, they have a knowledge which is very, very attractive for us, because they have really the sense of the service. They've been educated and trained in the biggest hotel. So that's very interesting to get those people, and this is what the COVID crisis is bringing now, because all the people with the COVID-19 in Dubai and all of that, they have lost their job in the hotels. The hotels are closed, so they all came back to Myanmar. So now we have a concentration of talents which are coming back from abroad, which are absolutely fantastic. So that's very encouraging. Yeah, no, there's a lot of good things, but for sure, when you open a business, it's complicated to find staff, to find the good furniture, the good the concept. Everything is linked all together. Yes. So when something is not going well, it impacts all the rest. You know, you cannot open a restaurant without the table and the chairs, right? So. Not now, because I've been working a lot, so I didn't take the time to go party or to go to go much to visit Myanmar till now. I went only to Mandalay, so I really enjoyed Mandalay. It was a wonderful experience. But yes, no, something unique till now I didn't have to, because I didn't have the opportunity to visit. But I will for sure. I would say what's really not shocked me, but yes, in Myanmar when I arrived here is the humidity in Yangon, because it's the first time I come to a country which is that humid, and yes, all the buildings with the green on it and a little bit grey because of the humidity. I'm not used to it as well. And yeah, but out of that, no, a unique experience in Myanmar. Yes, for me, the unique experience was some meeting with some monks and praying in the Shui Dagon Pagoda. Was a unique experience, definitely. This was absolutely amazing. I think I would say regarding the level between 0 to 10, I would say 8. I had a really great experience since I'm in Myanmar. I really love it. So yeah, I like this country. But yeah, I opened a restaurant. I'm planning to stay here for a while. No, I'm planning to stay here, I would say, between 5-10 years, certainly. We have a big plan to develop this restaurant, basically. Yeah, because we have basically 4 concepts. The first one is art cafe delivery. So we are making delivery service with door-to-door and with Food Panda. Second one is the restaurant. So the restaurant is a restaurant bar with a lounge garden. We have a club discotheque, club discotheque, and then we will have as well an art gallery and a fashion shop. So a designer coming from Bali, which is making some fantastic dress for ladies, will come to exhibit his dress here, and I will sell it in our outlet. And regarding the art gallery, basically we are planning to receive some new exhibition every month with some local artists, and we are planning to make some live action painting with the painters painting with model in the garden. The idea of that basically is to collect some paintings for at the end of the summer season make a big auction. And the result of this auction will go to for the education of the kids, basically. So this is the idea. So it's not only artistic, but as well it has a objective to support the local economy and the young kids of Yangon. Yes. And then the third concept we have is art catering. So art catering is dedicated basically for, we are doing all the events outside for corporate or for private events. So we are doing private dinners for the ambassadors, for example. We are doing as well some dinners for your own residents where you want to celebrate a birthday or a birthday anniversary. If you're getting married, we can organize a bachelor party with some animation and a lot of entertainment. We are organizing some weddings as well. We are working with some other venues where we can make the catering, and so we partner with them, we do the catering and they provide the venue. So we have a lot of different activities, and then we have a last concept which is called Artbox. So Artbox is a concept with 60 different lunchbox. So it's a concept, it's a catalog that we change every 3 months with various lunchbox from all around the world. So basically we have 7 Myanmar lunchbox, one for each state. So one Shan box, one Kashin box, one. So it's like that. And after that we have some Asian box. So we have 2 Indonesian, 2 Thai, 2 Korean, 2 Chinese, 2 Vietnamese, 2 Japanese. Then after we have 2 halal for people which are Muslim. Then we have 2 vegetarian for the people which are vegetarian. We have as well 2 Spanish, 2 French, 2 Italian, 2 Lebanese. And then we have a range of 9 lunchbox for the grade 1 to grade 5, from grade 5 to grade 10 and grade 10 to grade 13 for the international schools. Because we have remarked that most of the international schools here do not have facility for the catering. So we want to provide lunchbox. And same for the private hospitals, actually, Parami and all these hospitals, Samiti Vej. We are planning to provide some LC lunchbox for the hospitals. Particularly, it will be really based on the energy value and of the protein, lipids and all of that, including the lunchbox, to respect the diet of the sick people. So that's the idea. So 4 concepts, as you can see. Yes. But for now we are on the development of the delivery service and the restaurant. So we are planning to do the renovation to open the lounge garden, the art gallery, the club and the gallery of art by the end of this year. Je vous souhaite les meilleures choses. Yes.